A special thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. Hello everybody, glad you could make it. My name is Kaylee Ellen and welcome to my 2025 rare plant wishlist. Really loose emphasis on the word rare. It's almost a plant wishlist. In fact, do I need to rename this? Difficult. And you could argue I could rename this, but for the views, I'm not going to do that. For the algorithm, I'm not going to do that. So, welcome to my rare plant / plant wishlist for 2025. Now, I've alluded to this a few times before Christmas and last week's video, that basically this isn't as long as what it used to be. There are obvious reasons for that, probably covered in last week's video. But generally speaking, a lot of things aren't rare now. If I've wanted something, I've been able to get it most of the time through the shop or through whatever, and we're just not in that place now with plants. And again, I talked about this in last week's video. So, it should not surprise you to see there are not so many on this list. However, I do think you may be surprised at some of the things on this list. I actually think some of you are going to be bowled over, if I'm completely honest. You're going to be like, what is occurring here? Now, I've sort of grouped them. Should we count first? Right. 14 things. Maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 of which are quite common. I would actually go that far. But I've grouped them into like Monstera, Philodendron, other things, right? And I just want to take you through them. So I am going to do it that way, because why not? I think I've typically done it that way. I can't remember the last time I did one of these. It would have been last year, wouldn't it? I can't remember what I did, but that's what I'm doing. It just feels right. I like things in categories. So first off, I'm going to introduce to you a relatively new plant that I will probably never get, because I think this comes from, shit guys, it's either Australia or New Zealand, and I'm going to have to Google this because I didn't prep my documentation properly. Normally I put pictures of these things in so I can just start talking and describing what I see. I've not done that. So we're going to Google while I'm talking to you. There it is, previous search. Of course it is. So for once guys, in Australia, you might have a good time, because the first plant on my list that I really would quite like is the Monstera Uno. Yes, as in Uno reverse. So, this is a brand new Monstera hybrid, no doubt created by Odd Spot Plants. Link is probably in my description because I've probably given it a credit for the image. It is crossed by Monstera laniata, I can never say that, Jesus Christ. And it says by Albo. Now, I think that just means we can really equate that to just small form Monstera. I realise saying Albo helps, and it probably was a variegated cutting or something like that. I completely get that, but obviously the variegation's not passed. So, I don't know, you can argue with me in the comments as to whether we should just say small form or we should say Albo. Technically, yes, it was an Albo, but meh. I don't really care enough. It's not the point. The point is, it looks quite nice. And it looks easy. I'll say that, it looks easy. It looks kind of like a cross between, not even laniata, it looks a cross between Adansonii and regular Monstera deliciosa, which I think is kind of a cross that we've been waiting for a little bit, and I quite like it. It's not quite like Escalito. It is different enough to be like, okay, I would want this. These splits in it do resemble more a regular Monstera deliciosa, but it's really kind of cute. I think it's like a regular Monstera deliciosa. It looks like large form because you get more holes in it, very close to the midrib as well, and it's longer and pointier like a laniata, and I think it's quite sexy. Now, I'd love to know in the comments, please comment on what you think of this, because I've not heard anybody really talk about it. I don't know if it's just because, sorry, I'm just looping that around so it doesn't make noises. I don't know if it's because it is in like Australia or whatever, or people don't care, but I actually really like this. I'd love to see a variegated one, so Thailand, if you're going to get on something, maybe get on this one. It's really quite nice. Now, I think I can see here, can I actually enlarge these? Maybe not. So when it's small, does look pretty regular. I'm not going to lie. It looks pretty regular, which could give you some problems if you are someone that's going to propagate and sell this or buy this and sell this. When it's young, it's not looking like much. And I understand that with a lot of Monstera, they don't look like much when they're young. It's just, I know I'm saying stuff you probably already know, but I have to say it really. I have to say it. It's kind of my job. Just be careful, I guess. But when it gets big, it's the 100%, like it's just not mistakable. This looks very different. I was just about to show you the picture on my phone, not realizing there's literally probably an image right here or here. I think it's this way. But it looks different enough for me to like it. So that is on my wish list, guys. Will I get it? Probably not, no, because it's in fucking Australia and I can't get things out of there. Listen, I can't. Someone would have to be pirating things and sending things illegally, and I don't even think Australia would let it out. So if someone knows more about that, if this plant would ever leave Australia, let me know. As in, like, legally, I know it can leave Australia illegally, even though it's probably not, there's not a very high chance of it. But legally, if this plant might get out, that would be good to know. I don't intend on doing that, by the way, and I mean that legally. really. I've not got the budget for that. But I'm just kind of interested to see if places like Thailand would maybe think about picking this up. I don't know. I really don't know. Ooh, next plant. This is different for me. And it's not my usual taste, but I do like it. And I am going to Google it so I can mention it. But this next plant of Monstera that I really fancy is Monstera. I think you pronounce it unii. Now, I'm bound to have mentioned this. I'm just bound to have mentioned this. It's not really took off. It's a bit of an odd bod, and I can kind of see why. Got it. So it's a bit weird. And it's not my usual style. It kind of looks like a Monstera Burley Marks Flame that's just took acid or something. It does look really weird. I like it less than what I did. I think I've been very enamored with a certain Instagrammer's posts on this plant because theirs looks really good. But it would appear to me that I think if you don't get the light conditions right on this one, it's going to get real leggy and real shit real quick. So, I don't love it enough to drop big bucks on it. Growing trend for everyone. I'm absolutely sure I'm not alone in that. But I do quite like it. And I do want to see it continue to be passed round and sold. It's definitely not for everyone that though, guys. That's like, it reminds me of another plant and I don't know what it is. What does that remind me of? If you know in the comments what that's possibly reminding me of, let me know. But it's kind of like the Alocasia flying squid of Monstera. Does that make any sense? Photo of Alocasia flying squid for reference. It's something like that. It's an acquired taste, I appreciate, but I put it on my wish list because why not? I don't like things that are necessarily rare. I like things that are different, and this looks different, and it's a Monstera. So even if I was to sell it, I'd still get some value because Monstera just sell, right? So that's another one on my wish list. We'll just scooch past that one because I know fine well it's a ridiculously acquired taste. Ooh, right. I've wanted this for a while and this is so like boring, but I want one for space reasons, I guess you could say, and that is Monstera compacta. Now, I'm not going to bother Googling a picture because I think I know what it is. It's basically like a Monstera deliciosa. I mean, you can't even see the Monstera that's next to me, can you? The leaves on this are insane, right? But a Monstera compacta is usually like a large form style of leaf, so you get loads of holes, loads of splits. But the plant's really small, more like a small form Monstera, and it just stays compact, like the name. So you get kind of best of both worlds, and it would be something that I would consider swapping one of my large form for. I don't really swap my big boy because I love him, but at some point something is going to have to give because he's massive, okay? But I do kind of fancy having one. I don't see them, and I think it'd be hard to diagnose a younger plant on the internet. I would be really worried about that because now I'm not really at a point where I can rely on a supplier to tell me something is real. It's more like buying things off like Facebook or something like that. So it's like, it's a bit like Wild Wild West, which is why I never like to operate in it personally. But I would kind of like one. A variegated one would be lovely. And that's not because, I want a variegated one of that. It's because I'd probably just replace an alba with it because I think it looks nicer. But that's another one that I have written on my list. And it's been there for a while. It's just not been like a super desirable thing to have. But I thought I'd mention it since we're talking about some green Monstera. If I could have one of the three in Monstera, I'd obviously pick the Uno. It's just different. It's really cool. And it looks a bit paddly. And if you've been following my content, certainly a lot recently, sorry, I'm pushing on my counter to turn around. This guy here, he's got a really pale leaf in the light there. This guy is very paddly and I'm really enjoying the vibes that he gives me in this room. So I wouldn't mind more of that. And I think that the Monstera Uno would give me that. But anyway, we're going to move on to a different category. And are you ready to gasp? Hold that thought for 1 second. Let me introduce you to the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If you want to create a website quickly and easily, then Squarespace is the tool for the job. There's a huge selection of up-to-date templates that are fully customizable to your own branding. If you are struggling with filling out bits and pieces on your website, then Squarespace Blueprint can help you. Simply ask Squarespace's AI to write sections of your website for you based on the subject matter that you give it. Of course, this is all editable, so you can change this wherever you like. You can even change the conversational style that the AI uses. For example, a quirky tone. If you want to create a really sleek looking website, either for yourself or perhaps you're setting up an online business like mine, check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/Kaylee Ellen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And back to the video. Are you ready to gasp, guys? Well, the next category is Begonia. I know. I know. But I've just been seeing them pop up here and there, and I've realised, hey, there is a certain type of begonia, like archetype of begonia, I would say, that I do actually like. And it is usually, definitely an angel wing begonia, 100%, or batwing, or I don't know what you call them. I'm very new to begonia, can you tell? And they normally have spots on or something else, but the spots are usually very small. So I don't like, for example, Begonia maculata. I don't vibe with it. I used to, actually, when I started getting into plants, I did actually like that plant. And I think at the time I didn't have the light requirement, so I put it out of my mind. And by the time I got so into aroids, I didn't care about it anymore, and I just sort of fell out of love with it. Plus, everybody had them. And that's not because they're not rare, just I got sick of looking at them, basically. Same thing used to happen, by the way, with plants in the shop. And like I'd get a plant in that was like super rare. Everyone wanted it. You know, once I've unboxed 10 of them, I'm like, I'm having a great time. By the time I propagated 200 of them, I don't really want it anymore. Like I don't really like it anymore. So it's kind of one of those things. So I'm going to have to Google these because I can't remember how these look. So give me one moment to get the first one up. Oh, yes, I remember this one. I mean, I don't know if these are common or not because I'm new to begonia, but the first one I want to talk about, guys, is Begonia Sinbad. I don't know why I like this so much because in a lot of photos, it does actually look very underwhelming, but the ones where it looks good, it looks really good. So this could be not a catfish situation. I wouldn't be that strong about it, but it could disappoint me, I think. But Begonia Sinbad, it looks very good. It's kind of like a frosted vibe. Now, I don't like it when it turns pink. I'm looking at a picture there where it looks a bit pinky. I don't really want that, to be honest. Plus, I have a pink begonia as well, you know. So that's not really a vibe for me. But the rest of it kind of is. But I think if I was going to remove a begonia off my wish list, it could be this. Because I don't know, I just have this feeling that I'm going to get disappointed. Sorry, I've gone too dark again. I knew I'd be fighting today with this. I really did. It's really annoying. So I will whiz past that because I put this on my wish list a month ago and I'm not 100% sure. I think it's kind of photo dependent as to whether I like this or not. The next one I've got, oh my god, no, this one. This one I definitely want. I'm going to Google it, but I know exactly what it looks like. The next one on my list, guys, is, let me type it. The next one on my list, guys, it's so good. It's Begonia Black Blood. I'm not seeing a lot of talk about it. I don't know why. Maybe it's mis-ID'd. Maybe it's too expensive and people aren't buying it and they're just waiting for it. I don't know. But let me tell you something. It's hot. It's sexy. It's vibes. Looks like a bitch to grow. Don't know why. Maybe that's why a lot of people don't have it. I don't know. Give me the answers, guys. I really don't know. I'm delving into something I don't understand. But let me tell you how incredible this actually looks. That is gorgeous. And I've said to you guys on videos here and there for a while now, hey, I would really love a black begonia of some description. I don't know what it is. I just know that I want a really dark black begonia that's like angel wing or whatever. This one's probably the one. I mean, what more could you want from this? Now, I don't think it's a catfish situation. I don't know. I don't think so. It seems to be generally black. It's reminding me almost, of Anthurium Mysterious Dark Boy, which, by the way, a few people have been asking if I managed to save him from the shop. I absolutely did. He's upstairs. I have a few of his children here as well. I've got one in the cabinet, and I've got about 5 or 6 more upstairs that I will sell off at some point privately. So don't worry, he's safe. But he kind of reminds me of like the begonia version of that, and I really like him. And I really want him. So he's something I will probably actively try and get this year. I think he could be really, really nice. If you have one, let me know what the care is like as someone that's like coming in fresh, I guess. Because I'm not really good with begonia. There is one I might even show you in a moment on my wish list that I did actually get. Oh, it's the next one on the list, so I may as well show you it. But I do want a black blood, and I would actively be looking for that one. This is unlike the Monstera because they're larger plants. I could sort of ignore them for a bit. This one I'm actively looking for. And the next one that I was actively looking for, this is the one, guys. I've mentioned this before on my last week's video, and I've mentioned it on another video probably. I put this on my wish list, and about 20 minutes later, I bought it off Etsy. I bought a £10 cutting of it, and I'm going to get it out, because why not? I'm trying to root it, and some advice would be welcome, actually. 2 minutes, I'm trying to open a cabinet with a ring light in front of it. Give me a minute. So this, let me just gently touch it. This. I hope you can see. Hopefully it will focus if I hide me with it, will it? Yeah. You see this? This, it should be anyway. This here, guys, is Begonia White Ice, and it was on my wish list. Now, I bought it like this. Love that for me. Let me try and, hang on, I'll not be able to speak while I do this. I bought it for me, and I bought it like this. Now, I've been trying to root this for a while. I got this mid-December, I think. And it's nowhere near rooting. And I've had a water level up to about here, so past the node, and it's still not rooting. And I would really like it to root. So if you've got advice for me, let me know. Of course, I will now put a picture next to me of Begonia White Ice so you can see why I chose it. Again, it's a begonia. It's super spotty. It's super cute vibes. We love it. That's why I wanted it. And out of all the spotty green begonias, that one kind of took it for me. But I really, really like it. And I want to grow a really big, beautiful plant. I might try and find the photo that really sold it for me when I was looking on Pinterest, I think, because it was gorgeous. And I just need you to know that I love the look of it. And I actually kind of like, what's inspired it is obviously my love for this begonia that's actually not doing very well at all. It's dropping leaves. I've got a problem with it. I'll need to sort it. I need to propagate it all anyway, to be fair. It's looking very dog-eared. But I like the vibe and I want more of it. And I like the vibe in with all my plants. And there's also one up there, the Ginny Galaxy, that really needs chopped. You can't see it, but it's there. And I just wanted more. I wanted more. I like the bushiness. So that was on my wish list, but obviously then I bought it. But if you've got any advice for rooting it, please leave a comment, because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I really don't know what I'm doing wrong. I thought I would have seen something by now. I think I saw an internet hit where it said take, like I would take that leaf off that node, but let me know, because I really could do with some roots on it now. I didn't want to just put it in moss and hope and kill it. So it seems fine in water, it's just not doing anything. Ooh, the next begonia. Oh my God. I think people will know about this. Obviously, I'm expecting most people to know about these begonia, but this, oh my God. And this is going to betray everything I just said about pink things, because you know I don't like pink things, but this, oh my God, this is good. What's it called? SP. Some people have already guessed it. Some people will know. This, if you are into your begonia and you don't know about this, I think you're going to want it. This is Begonia SP Julau, I think it's called. And it's begonia and it's got these beautiful big pink just chunks through it, and it just looks so beautiful. The shape of the leaf is very, very pretty, and I love the colouring, funny enough, and it's obviously as like a semi-homage to that other begonia that I have. It's so nice. And you know what, even when I see it and it's not that pink and it's more, the patterning is more white, I still love it. So that is something I would probably also actively search for, because all of these plants that I'm going to buy, guys, they're going to probably be cutting sized, which means more plants because more space. So in that sense, I'm going back to my original collecting days. And I mentioned this in my predictions advice video. It's become more about that again for me, and I do love that. And it has actually been an advantage of shutting the shop. I can focus on stuff like that now. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I had the shop, I could probably locate these very quickly, but where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? So I definitely want this. Can I click on a link and see if we know how much it is? Like someone's selling one there, Etsy UK. I click on it. So that's like a 3-leafer, £57. I don't know if that's just shipping to the UK or they're in the UK, but £57 for 3 leaves, I actually think that's quite expensive in today's climate. I'm not knocking the seller, by the way. I'm just saying that's going to take a bit of time. You know, I might try it for the other one first. But it's such a gorgeous plant, and I really, really want one. Who'd have thought, guys, I'd have begonia on my wish list? Who would have thought that? Can you see why I want to revisit my rare plant index and stuff like that? Ooh, I'm going to have to Google this one. Ooh, a subscriber showed me this one. You'll know who you are if you're watching this, which no doubt you are, because I mentioned this was going on my wish list. Let me just Google this, because I do kind of remember this one. It's another begonia. This is the last begonia, so if you don't like begonia, just stay with me a little bit longer. Right, this next begonia, I think it loses these spots with age, which I can't remember if this person said that a lot of them do, like a lot of the spotty begonias do, but this one definitely does lose it with age. But there's just something about the shape of this begonia. I love it. It's Begonia Lubersii, guys. So it honestly, even when it's juvenile, it does look nice. It does. It's perfectly pleasant. It's not got like dots that are too big. It's got loads of contrast, and it reminds me of a different plant, of an alocasia. There's a certain alocasia it reminds me of with loads of like contrast in the veins, and I can't think of what it is. I say contrast more of like a shadow contrast. Maybe I'm just thinking of dragon scale, actually, you know. But the way that it looks and the shape of the leaves is amazing, and I kind of want it. Now, arguably, this is one of the plainer ones on my list, but I really, really like it. Is there any shops popping up in the UK? Just so I can click on it to see if I can get an idea of price. I'll click on Steve Leaves. I know I can't buy from Steve's Leaves, but I will click on it because he has it. $20. $20. I still can't get it. So that's that, but it just looks really cute. I don't think I would be underwhelmed by this because I like the way the leaves looked. But if there was ever going to be one where I might, it's between this and the other one, like the Sinbad, I think. But I do really, really like it. And I think even when it's got spots, it looks nice. So that concludes my begonia. Thank you very much for putting up with that. I do appreciate that was long. I put something on my list here, and it's not necessarily on my wish list. It's just something I saw yesterday, and I thought that's quite nice. I'm going to put it on, I'm going to mention it, and just put it in front of you guys because it's really quite nice. I think I screenshotted it because you'll know who you are. You put it on Facebook, and I was like, ooh, that's quite nice. There it is. And it's a Homalomena. And finally, it took me 4 years to say it. Homalomena Arcturus. And it's a hybrid of Papua and SP Borneo. And it looks kind of interesting. Now, these are small. I'll be showing you the same thing. They're small, but I want to see them mature. I really want to see them mature. I'm mentioning this super quick. It's not necessarily on my wish list. I just wanted you guys to see it. But I don't mind Homalomena. They're not the easiest. They move around a lot like alocasia. So if you get your light wrong, if you move them to like a different spot, they will adjust themselves very fast, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. Really depends how you look at it. For me personally, I think it's a bad thing. I don't like the plants to move that quick. But stay on the lookout for that because it could look quite good. I should really have just Googled a mature one, but I'll leave that to you guys. I'll leave the fun of that to you guys. Right, Philodendron, and these are on my wish list. So this first Philodendron is actually something that has been on my wish list for like, wow, 3 years, and you know what? It surprises me that it's never gone through the TC flush or any hype or anything. It really surprises me. Or if it has done that, I haven't known about that and have not seen it. Let me just Google it so I can accurately describe it because I've had like 3 weeks off here. Maybe people don't care. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, maybe people don't care. But anyway, the first philodendron I want to talk about, guys, is Philodendron Firebird. And an astute watcher among you will know that I've mentioned this before on a different list. It could be last year's, could be the year before. I don't know. I've mentioned it. It's got to be a hybrid. It looks like it's got a bit of Congo in it. I don't know. But it's kind of like, it's a much pointier Congo. I know you're looking at a picture, but just humour me. It's a much pointier Congo and it's got more of like a sunset colouring. So new leaves will come in like a hot, ready orange and then they'll fade down to yellow. I don't know if the variegation persists or it's like a jungle boogie or whatever situation where it goes away. But these look quite nice, I won't lie. I do not understand why they haven't... Ooh, you know what? I think this variegation might wear off. I've never really looked at it long enough to know. It might wear off and maybe that's why people don't care. But I quite like the shape of it. I think if you can grow it in good conditions, this would look quite sexy. Let me know what you think about that because I do think there'll be a reason, no doubt, why this hasn't really gone... I don't want to say mainstream, but do you know what I mean? Like people aren't like, oh my God, have you seen it? Or like, here's someone with it. Look at my fibre. Look at this new leaf, blah, blah, blah. I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm on a weird corner of the internet, but I'm not seeing it. So I think, let me know what you think about if you like it and if you know if it's circulating or if it's not, because I'm not seeing that at all. Restart my camera. Oh my God, my battery's going to go. I need to be quick now. I need to be very quick. So next one, before my battery canes it, we have, and it's one of 2 hybrids from my Philodendron hybrid video. This one is Philodendron Tortum by Florida Beauty. I won't spend too long on it. It's probably the only variegated plant I've picked up from that list where I was like, yeah, I could own that. That looks cool. I would like to grow that mature because I think it looks nice. I have made many a comment on the Philodendron hybrids that are going to come out this year. And if you want the TLDR, too long didn't read, then you can probably miss most of them because they all look the same and you're going to be bombarded with them, was my take on it. But I put that down because I like the look of it. And I did have a Tortum back in the day and I'm kind of sad that I think I put it in the wall and it died. I can't remember. I did have one. A few of you remember it, but I don't have it anymore. So if I was going to get something, I would think I would combine the 2. I think that'd be really nice. But I'm going to skip over it because it's not entirely pertinent really. But I just wanted to put it on there. The one I do want, and again, I mentioned this in the video, was the Philodendron Mayoi by Squam. I've just put Squam. This was a month ago. Squamiferum. Not squamacol, that's different shape. Squamiferum, I'm going to say. Oh, can you tell I'm rusty? I put that on because it's ghosty. And I actually like the way that the Mayoi's leaves are going to throw a really pretty shape. And I don't think personally we have enough ghosty things. I'm a huge fan of ghosty things. I fucking love them. I think they're the best thing ever. So that is why I have done that. I actually think I might have to buy a new ghost. I think I've shown people on my Florida ghost, I've shown people on my cabinet video, hey, look, I obliterated my ghost and I really wanted to have it really pretty and start it off nicely. I think I've killed it. I've not killed it. It just looks so bad. And by the time I grow it nice again, I'm going to get a really long, annoying bit on the bottom with no leaves. So I might keep that, rehab it, cut it up, make a nice little bush whilst getting a new one and putting that on a pole. I know that's like so over the top, but I might do that. Anyway, side note, sorry. The Mayar by Squam is good. I would love to see it hit people's collections more because it's ghosty and we can never have enough. I didn't put it on here, but side note, very quickly, if there is a Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma ghost, I would like that too. Mixed opinions on where and how it is and everything else, but I would like that as well. Now, the last two plants I'm going to mention, they're both Scindapsus and they're both quite common, guys, but I just miss them. I really miss them. The first one is Scindapsus silvery Ann. I want Scindapsus, by the way, because of the fact they grow really slow. Now, most people will be like, oh, that's a bit shit. Not really. I'm having some problems with hangers in here. So a lot of my trailing hanging plants, I'm feeding them and they're going a little bit out of control, which I know is good, but also I'm going to have to cut them because I have cats and they will cover the shelf for other plants and everything else, right? It is what it is. So although that is awesome, it's annoying. And I think Scindapsus will slow that down for me and I would really like to. So the first Scindapsus I've got on here is a Scindapsus silvery Ann. I used to have this. I loved it. It's the most silvery, exotic-y Scindapsus you can probably get, in my opinion, as in one still with a pattern. And I've selected that one. That is the one I want. I don't want any other one. That is the one. So I'm going to brush past that really quickly, but I did used to have it. You're not going crazy. If you followed me since like the beginning, then you'll know. The next one I want to mention is the Scindapsus Silver Hero / Platinum. I've also had that before. I think they died in the shop. Most of them did. When I had to close it, I picked a few plants to like save for like my own collection. A lot of them were my own collection, obviously, but I picked some to save and they were not among them. I thought they were, guys. I've got some Scindapsus growing in here. Let me just lean forward. I think one of them was like the tattoo one and the other, or is it just tattoo in there? Oh, damn. I think it could just be tattoo in there. So I didn't fetch any platinum and that's really sad because I loved the platinum. It was either Silver Hero or Platinum. I think I had Platinum and I think I covered this in my Scindapsus Rare Plant Index. So if you're curious as to the difference or why I'm even suffering from those problems, feel free to watch that. But I really, really want one of those because I do love bluey silver things and that is definitely the vibe for in here. Having said that, obviously there's some pink begonias I want. Listen, I'm going to make it work. We're going to curate it. It's going to look great. Give me some time. But that is pretty much, guys, my rare plant wish list. It's not, I mean, you could call it a plant wish list. If you want to be annoyed with me and call it that, that's fine. I won't have a go at you. But that is basically what it is. Obviously, I've had a lot of plants. I now know what I want. I know what I can take care of. My tastes at the moment fall in a certain way. Could they change? Yes, of course. But that's kind of how it is for now. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a short wish list. It probably shouldn't surprise anybody that it is shorter. I do reserve the right to make a second one, probably halfway through the year, in case, for example, I get into more into Begonia, or I'm able to get more back into Hoya or something, and I see things and I'm like, God, I really want this. I reserve the right, I'm saying it now, to do another one. But it probably won't be super rare stuff. It might just be super cool stuff. So if you've got anything that you think I might like, especially in the Begonia world, or maybe in the Hoya world, let me know. The only reason, by the way, guys, that I'm a bit resistant to Hoya, I haven't fallen out in love with them. It's my floor. I've got a real wood floor and I don't want to ruin it with pollen. That's literally the only reason I don't have Hoya in here. Otherwise, I would probably have loads because I love them. And I was actually really good at growing them. So feel free to leave some suggestions, but at the moment I'm a bit worried about that. So that's the only reason I haven't touched them. Begonia, yeah, kind of vibing. If there is another genus of plant you think I might like, feel free to suggest it down. Let me know any opinions on anything I've said. What are I don't want to make you write out your whole wish list, but give me your top 3. If you could do that for me, give me your top 3 because that's easy enough to write. And I think it gives people enough scope to like change things around. But I actually want to know generally what people want this year. Do you know what I mean? Completely curiosity, obviously. Just want to know what people want this year. So put down, if you can, your top 3. If you don't have a top 3, that's fine. Just put the number 1 thing, if there is one at all. But I kind of want to know what y'all are wanting. My top 3... Oh, let me do it really quick before we go. Before my camera battery dies. If this video ends abruptly, by the way, it's because the camera died. Maybe the Begonia Black Blood would be in my top 3. The Uno would be in my top 3. And... ooh, that tough. Maybe the Mayar by Squam. Maybe. I don't know. I've got more of a top 2 than a top 3, to be honest. But I don't think that's a bad thing in today's climate. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching my wish list. I need to really take a break now because I filmed this video off the back of the first video where I did nothing but talk for quite a long time. And I'm feeling very fatigued. So I'm going to go now. My merch is linked in the description. My podcast is linked down below. I don't know when this video is coming out, but there's a new episode coming out imminently. And I think it should be all about New Year's resolutions and things like that. It's either out or it's coming. So feel free to check the link in the description. Follow me on my socials if you want to know when that is because I will be telling you. And I guess that's it for this video, guys. I will love you and leave you. Leave content requests in the description. I will happily take a look. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Jesus Christ.